All right. Welcome, welcome. I'm Dawn Preciado. Thank you so much for joining me on this House of Worship Tech Talk. I've also been doing these Tech Talks on the mainstream QSC Facebook page, but I have to say that being here with you guys is like totally at home for me. I was raised in church, and all my musical and audio engineering experience began in church. So being able to impart audio knowledge and help churches with their audio needs is truly a blessing for me. So my husband, Michael, and I used to lead worship and share our music in churches all over the U.S. And we've seen many, many different church audio setups. One of the things we noticed about most of the places we've played is that these churches have volunteers running sound. And I'm pretty sure that the scenario comes to fruition something like this. The pastor says, "We need your help with audiovisual. Who would like to volunteer to help out?" A few volunteers step forward and say, "I'll help. Just show me what to do." And no one really realizes that there's this whole science behind this audio thing. So the volunteer steps up to the mixer, pulls up the fader, and everything starts to feed back. Or the worship team vocals are super muddy and boomy sounding, or even the pastor's mic has no clarity, and it's really, really hard to understand him. What I've seen is that the majority of intimately sized and mobile churches will have volunteer sound people with beautiful hearts to serve, but still growing in their knowledge and understand of live sound reinforcement. And this is where the TouchMix family of mixers from QSC can be super, super helpful. The TouchMixes have tools that give these volunteers a fighting chance, even if they don't have any audio experience. Now, most churches already have a mixer of some sort, but what sets the TouchMix family of mixers apart from all other mixers are the world-class instrument presets and scenes. So if a person in training doesn't yet know what to do with an instrument after it's been plugged in, no problem. They can pull in a preset for that instrument and make it sound great. Now, the mastermind behind all these instrument presets is QSC's very own John Graves. And he comes from an extensive touring and recording background, which makes these presets that he's written truly world-class quality. So I'm going to let him explain a bit more about this in this video.
Well, John Graves originally came to QSC from a background in high-end concert sound reinforcement.
I worked as a live sound engineer and also in the studio for 30 plus years before I came to work at QSC. Having a preset on a mixer at this level, that's a good preset, gives somebody an opportunity to get a really clean mix, a really clean sound, a quality sound, without having to spend a whole bunch of time spinning knobs if not really experienced at it. And if they don't know how to do it at all, it gives them the opportunity to also learn from looking at what we've done and say, that's how they got that. They pulled that frequency out. So the challenge was to spend all the time and energy on making the presets actually work in the real world and the real environment people are going to use them in. So what we tried to do was get rooms that were real acoustic rooms that sounded like a club or sounded like the environments that the mixer is going to get used in. Then we wanted to bring in different PAs, because all rooms are going to have different PAs and different acoustics and different instruments, and we brought in different instruments and different mic packages. We spent so much time doing each individual instrument and then checking and then rechecking. So it was the sound check that never ended. It was days and days and days of doing just drums. I mean, days of doing just drums, because you had to get to the point where I could put either a dynamic or a condenser on a 10-inch tom, and no matter what PA I put it in, it sounded good. It's going to sound different on each PA because each PA has a little different quality, but it's going to sound good.
You were able to see the difference immediately.
Every frequency was there and plenty of level and space between everything.
You could hear a difference in clarity, a difference in the body of the voice, a difference in the texture.
The presets are really good enough to get things going to a level that usually is a lot higher than we're used to.
We did several different brands of pianos, and it's remarkable how well the presets worked for all of them.
Having some presets that are that, like, you know, universal, it's invaluable.
It's plug and go. It's super simple.
You're doing real world stuff here that's going to actually work with the push of a button.
For me, it just makes it easier. It's like a good starting point to get a sound on an instrument and then go from there.
We may have to make a tweak or two, but for the most part, it's going to sound great, and we don't have to think about it. We can do our job.
This is something that we've been working on for so long. That's the kind of excitement that I've never had.
So what I want to do now is switch over to my mixer camera, and I'm going to play the part of a volunteer sound person and show you how easy it is to pull in instrument presets. And we're going to pretend that our worship team for this service consists of an acoustic guitar player, a keyboard player, a violin player, 2 singers, one's a guy, one's going to be a girl. Then we'll also pull in a preset for the pastor's headset mic. So here goes. There's a few ways. We're going to make channel 1 be the acoustic guitar. Click in the gray area here, then click presets, then click frets. You'll choose acoustic guitar. I'm going to choose the bridge pickup number 1, recall. Yes, I want to recall this preset so that when I go back over to my main mix window, you'll see that it's already labeled the channel for me and dropped in the channel parameters. We'll make channel 2 be our keyboards. Then click preset. Then click keyboards. Click digital keys. And we'll choose digital keyboard DI because we'll be using a direct box. Then click recall. Yes, we want to recall that preset so that when we click our home button twice and go back to the main mix window, you'll see that digital keys has been entered into channel 2 with all its parameters. We'll make channel 3 be our violin. So click in the gray space, click presets, click strings, then choose fiddle. And you have the option to use a fiddle with a pickup, a condenser mic, or a dynamic mic. Most churches will have dynamic mics available, so we'll choose the dynamic mic setting. Click recall. Yes, we want to recall that. So that when we click our home button twice and go back to our main mix window, we see that fiddle has been entered in to channel 3. Let's make channel 4 our male vocal. Click in the gray space here, click presets, go to vocals and speech. Then we're going to click music and we'll choose male vocal, recall, yes. So that when we go back to our main mix window, you'll see that it's labeled channel 4 for our male vocal. Let's make channel 5 our female vocal. Click in the gray space. Click presets. Now we are in vocals and speech. Click music and we're going to choose the female vocal. Recall. Yes, we want to recall that. So that when you go back to your main mix window, you'll see that vocals for female is inserted into channel 5. We're going to make channel 8 be our pastor's headset mic. So click presets. We'll be in vocals and speech. And then we'll choose speech. Then we'll choose head mic and recall. Yes, we want to choose this preset so that when we go back to our main mix window, you can see the headset mic is dropped into channel 8. Now I'm going to start with the EQ on the acoustic guitar and we'll scroll through and see what parameters were dropped in there. You can see the EQ on the acoustic guitar dropped out a bunch of 100 hertz because that's a known treble frequency. And we got some air there in the 5K range. When we scroll over to channel 2 for digital keys, you'll see that a low cut was added. Digital keys are often already EQ'd inside the keyboard, so we didn't do a whole bunch to that. Now let's scroll over to channel 3, and you can see our violin setting. 500 hertz is a known offending frequency for that, and it's got a bunch of that dropped out. Now we'll scroll over to channel 4 where we have our male vocals, and you can see there's some low cut on that to get rid of any frequencies that male voice is not producing. And same with our female vocal in channel 5. Sometimes female vocals can be shrill, so we have 2.5K notched out of there. I'm going to go back to my main mix window. Let's look at our headset mic EQ. The first time I saw this, I said, whoa, that is insane. But I brought the fader up and it sounded really good. There are a bunch of offending frequencies in those headset mics, and in this EQ, they are notched out. These presets were created for not only contour of sound, but system stability, so that when your church volunteer sound person pulls in that preset, they can be confident that they're not going to send the whole system into feedback. I want to show you one more really cool thing on the TouchMix. There's a factory default scene. It's actually called Praise Band. And the scene has the entire band mapped out channel for channel with parameters already in place for those channels. And I'm going to head back over to my mixer cam and show you how to pull up that scene. There's a few ways to do this, but I'm going to show you the easiest way. Right here where it says scene, click there. Then click Praise Band. And then recall. Yes, you want to recall that scene. And then click the home button. And there's the Praise Band scene. Bank 1 includes everything in your drum kit. And presets for that are already dropped in. Bank 2 includes percussion, bass, keyboards, and electric guitars with presets already dropped into those. And in Bank 3, we have our acoustic guitars and vocals, including a handheld mic for spoken word and a headset mic for the pastor. And presets are already dropped into those. The idea behind this is, if you just pulled this mixer out of the box, you could pull up the Praise Band scene and plug in your instrument to the channels with their labels on it and bring up the faders, and it would sound great. There's a reason they call the TouchMix the point-and-shoot mixer. The TouchMix family of mixers are really unique in that it has all the advanced tools for an experienced audio engineer to accomplish what they need to do, and it has tools like presets and wizards to help a church volunteer sound person sound like an experienced engineer. It's probably a bit more forgivable in, say, a club situation if there's feedback or audio issues. But in the house of worship, when we have a captive audience, the whole idea is to redirect people's attention to God through the worship music time and the spoken word. There is nothing more distracting than audio problems during a service. And without the proper equipment and audio knowledge, a volunteer oftentimes won't know what to do to fix it. But QSC's TouchMix family of mixers, whether it's the TouchMix 8, 16, or 30, makes it possible for a volunteer sound person to provide clear and stable sound reinforcement without distraction during a church service. In my mind, every church, whether intimately sized or larger churches with sub-venues, would benefit greatly from having a TouchMix in their inventory. Not only because it gives the volunteer a fighting chance, but they can study those world-class presets and learn from them. And what can you learn from those presets? Well, that will be a conversation for another Tech Talk. And real quick, I'm going to take a look at the feed and see what we have going. Oh, hi, David. You are ever faithful, showing up at my live streams. Any questions you guys might have, go ahead and post them in the comments. I will take time and comment back and answer those questions. So I just wanted to let you know that this group was created to not only share with each other how we're using our QSC gear for House of Worship applications, but also to offer resources and teaching that will help you with your audio workflow. And if you know others that might benefit from being a part of this group, please, please, please pass it on. Send them over here so they can request access. Well, that's it for now. I hope you have found this helpful. I'm Dawn Preciado, and I look forward to seeing you on the next House of Worship QSC Tech Talk.